You might have seen the headlines. Roblox, worst company in the world. Terrible place, lying to investors, legit hunting ground for predators looking for children. Absolutely wild stuff. But headlines don't quite do this one justice. The real devil is in the details. So instead of you reading a massive document that goes over everything in painstaking details, why don't I just do it for you and tell you all the important bits instead? So to begin with, we need to set the stage, specifically about who's making this document, their track record, and also why they made it in the first place. The importance of who did something can never be ignored because information is only ever as good as its source. This whole research dump was conducted by HindenburgResearch.com, which published the expose on October the 8th, 2024. Hindenburg Research is an investment research firm who, at least according to Wikipedia, focuses on what is referred to as activist short selling. Essentially, they research companies that are publicly traded and then use that research to short the stock if they find things that are worth shorting the stock from, as well as, of course, publishing their findings for any interested third party to find. Their research does seem to be factual, in-depth, and reliable for the most part. They've been operating in this capacity since 2017, and you can very easily look up their track record, which is, I might say so, pretty stellar. The more important part isn't exactly who they are, but why they would do this. And the obvious answer is always going to be money, basically. The same reason anyone in the stock market does anything in the first place. But unlike other investors, they are impacting the market directly in their favor by publishing this meticulously researched information, which has led to them being incredibly successful as short sellers. After all, they're not just finding weaknesses in the market and then positioning themselves to take advantage of said weakness, but they're then putting on a spotlight for the rest of the Wall Street and the world to see and react accordingly. But they're already set up, so they're going to be the ones that take the most advantage from the fact that what they found is relevant to other people. With this being the case, their track record, as well as them being heavily exposed to easy civil litigation if they were found to be spreading misinformation or, saying things that aren't true, especially with easy to prove damages to the target company's reputation and their stock price, you can take this report as maybe slightly more than just baseless accusations, but of course, do your own research as always with everything, and not everything is going to be gospel just because some company has a good track record previously, especially because it's a lot of stuff we've heard before, which brings us straight back to the topic at hand, Roblox. Navigating to the About Us page, Roblox boasts some eye-watering numbers. After all, if you're an adult and not a child predator, you're unlikely to know just how massive this company really is. They claim almost 80 million daily active users with 17.4 billion engagement hours, and this has led to them becoming a $27 billion online gaming platform, an absolute whale in the industry. The issue is that according to Hindenburg Research, these numbers are massively inflated, anywhere from 25 to 100%. And not just that, but Roblox is a platform that is crawling with PDFs. And I'm not talking about their investor report files sent out each quarter. If you've been around the gaming internet at all, you'll no doubt have seen the stories already. There's lots of examples out there of this just being a really, really terrible place for unsupervised children, which is sad, obviously, because the children seem to love Roblox. It's not just a video game either. It's an ever-evolving platform for video games as well as social interaction. Unfortunately, due to the fact it's mostly kids, that's obviously also where predators are going to flock to. Unfortunately, this is the case, which means it's on Roblox and of course parents as well to really do something about this. But let's finally get into some details. First, about the claims of Roblox inflating their numbers to investors. To start out, it's important to understand that Roblox as a company, despite boasting insane numbers with even more crazy growth that they're promising, they've never booked a profit for a single quarter since becoming a publicly traded company. As in, they operate at a loss financially. This would usually mean a company would see a negative trend in their stock price because, well, why would the price keep going up and earn you a return on your investment if the company just never makes money, right? I mean, it's not a good business strategy. But if a company is projected to continue with an insane trajectory of growth, then that can lead to ever-increasing stock prices. Essentially, people are speculating on the idea it will eventually make money from its massive and, of course, growing audience. And when it does, it will balloon the price, and anyone buying in before then will make incredible returns. It isn't wrong or a bad idea, but it is a risk because there is a ceiling for growth. As silly as that sounds, there are a finite amount of people that can use your product. And not just that, but of course, some platforms struggle to monetize their audience. You can look at Facebook for an example of all of these things. It's not necessarily true that you can grow infinitely and then also monetize the people you grew from. Either way, Roblox basically blows money out of its ass each quarter. In the last 3 years alone, they've lost over $2.6 billion. Despite that, Roblox trades at a premium compared to similarly sized or even larger gaming corporations like Take-Two, Electronic Arts, and of course Nintendo. While the company is absolutely burning money like Joker in Batman Begins, there is one person, well, a couple people, but one in particular, inside the company that's making money hand over fist. Their CEO, David Baszucki. This guy has sold $526 million worth of his shares since taking the company public in 2021. $500 million, and it isn't just him. Other insiders of the company have reportedly dumped a total of $1.7 billion in that time as well. The implication here is that while David is telling the stock market that Roblox is going to grow to 1 billion daily active users, making the platform account for over 12% of the world's population logging on to play Roblox each day, therefore becoming one of the most used and hopefully most valuable companies on the planet, he isn't waiting for that day, which is odd. Instead, he's using the positive sentiment of the market for the tale he's telling to dump his own position in the company. And so are the others that have this stock. This isn't criminal, of course, or any huge deal, outside of pointing out that the narrative of Roblox being a great speculative investment due to projected future growth seems way less compelling if the person telling that story doesn't believe in it themselves. After all, nobody needs $500 million in the short term. If he sold $100 million and then started living like a rock star, you could be like, okay, yeah, that's understandable. I mean, he's worked hard. I'm sure he needs that money, right? But a combined 1.7 million from the inner circle, nobody needs that much money. And if they believe that it would be worth tens of billions instead of 1 billion in the very near future, well, it doesn't make a ton of sense, does it? If you knew your company was going to be that huge, you'd probably just hang on to it and cash it in later. Which brings us to the next point that ties in and perfectly exposes why the report outlines this information. Hindenburg Research claims that Roblox are lying about their user activity, making it inflated by 25 to 42% or even more, which if true would certainly explain why they would want to dump their shares as quickly as possible, as this graph suggests. Because if the numbers are fake, then the future probably isn't as bright as they're claiming. The research document points this exact thing out, stating that since Roblox isn't profitable, its stock price and in turn insiders' ability to sell hundreds of millions of dollars worth of stock is completely reliant on the key metrics it presents to Wall Street on a quarterly basis. And these are key metrics that they're then saying are fake or inflated. But how did they come to this conclusion? You know, what data are they using to prove this? Social media, technical analysis, interviews with insiders, and that of course means former and current employees, as well as Roblox's own company disclosures. We'll get to the examples in a second. What Roblox has basically been telling investors is to ignore financials, which sounds crazy. Financials is the usual indicator investors look at almost exclusively to decide on what to invest in. In Roblox's case, they're banking on what a startup would usually sell. An easy example of this would be Netflix, who operated at a loss for over 6 years at the very beginning. They had a product, the market obviously wanted this product, and they had a growing user base. What they could have done at the beginning was push for profitability really early at the cost of faster growth. But instead they focused on growth, didn't focus on making money, and then 20 years later, instead of booking their first $6.5 million profit, which they did at the beginning after 6 years, they booked a $5.4 billion profit in 2023. Roblox tells investors to focus on two key metrics, one being daily active users, the other being total hours engaged. Specifically, they claim that they're not monetizing roughly 80% of their reported engagement hours, which sounds great to an investor, because that means if the company's already doing this well and only earning from 20% of the time users are on the platform, That would indicate that the other 80%, if it was managed to be converted, would mean absolutely insane growth in revenue, especially if those hours are also going to grow. So Roblox's growth in these areas is exactly why Roblox stock has maintained value, especially when we compare Roblox's valuation to other companies who actually sell products, make money, and book profit each quarter. Roblox stock is down from initial listing, as well as during the booming COVID lockdowns, where pretty much every gaming company and tech stock saw a huge increase anyway. But what Hindenburg is suggesting is that even at current price, it is massively, massively overvalued. Roblox is projected to grow from a 68.4 million daily active users in 2023 to 94 million users in 2025. And to remind you, they plan to hit 1 billion users one day. So let's look at how the meatball's made and why these numbers are being called inflated. And if you followed the financial side of gaming for a while, you'll have already spotted where the issue is going to be here, because you'll recognize these letters. DAU, daily active users. This is a made-up metric that companies use interchangeably with the word people, because we all know what people means. Instead, they use DAUs. The issue is, if you log into a game today with 10 accounts, you're a single person, but that company is almost certainly going to use that single person and 10 accounts to report that you are 10 DAUs. If they use the word people, they could feign ignorance if it ever came to light, say that they don't know who's a bot and who isn't, who's a second account and who isn't, which is exactly what Roblox told the SEC. They told them they cannot differentiate between alt accounts, which multiple former employees told Hindenburg was a flat-out lie. And realistically, one person with 10 accounts is not the same as 10 people. It's not the same spending habits, it's not the same anything, which again is why they use DAUs. If you were unaware of the fact people use alts or bots, you would have no idea that this number is going to be considerably higher than if they were reporting on real people only. The issue, again, as Hindenburg Research points out, is that Roblox seems to interchangeably use the term people when referring to DAUs, which they're not supposed to be doing. Even in their registration document to take the company public in 2020, they state, and I'll quote, "An average of 36.2 million people from around the world come to Roblox every day to connect with friends," which they then show is the exact same number that they report as DAUs in the same registration statement. This means you can very easily make the case they are purposefully inflating their numbers to investors by saying that, this amount of people come, and then you look and it's their DAUs that they're using, which we all know now are not people. Not all of them, at least. And this is exactly why Hindenburg researchers decided to short the stock. They give another few examples of Roblox doing exactly this same thing, such as the Q1 2022 financial report from Roblox's chief product officer, which coincidentally is the exact number they report as DAUs as well, and again in 2024. What's funny about this is that Roblox itself defined DAUs in their 10K form prior to listing, meaning not only are they aware of the fact that DAUs are not the same and interchangeable with people, but they put it in writing, legally. Quote, "DAUs are not a measure of unique individuals accessing Roblox." That's what they wrote. But then their CEO and team are repeatedly writing people when referring to DAUs. They also wrote that the DAU metrics are, quote, "susceptible to algorithm or other technical errors," and that the metrics have, quote, "not been validated by an independent third party." Basically, trust me, bro. And if that wasn't bad enough, Roblox claims that there are 6.5 billion registered Roblox accounts, which is entirely possible, but also just simultaneously points out that their DAUs are inflated by multi-user accounts, because 6.5 billion accounts is almost the entire Earth's population. And as an adult, I don't know a single adult who has a Roblox account. If I did, I'd probably report them to the police at this stage, to be honest. Which is half a joke, and we'll get into why I said that very soon. In terms of numbers though, according to the report and quoting a former Roblox employee, every time we see a user sign up, there's a 60% chance that this sign up is from an alt account. They then show some Reddit screenshots of people talking about how many alts they have, as well as reasons why somebody would even use an alt account in Roblox in the first place. They also claim that Roblox has two different sets of books, one for internal use and decisions, and another for the public reporting of data to investors, which if true, sounds absolutely insane. I don't know if this is legal. This sounds like something crazy. When you hear the term different books, you think of like accountancy fraud or something. I don't know if that's the case, but either way, that sounds crazy. But using the information of knowing that exists, Hindenburg claims a data scientist then estimated numbers reported from anywhere between 25 to 43% lower than what they were reporting if they were to remove alts from DAUs and just to use the term people instead. The issue is that DAUs don't just include alts, they also include bots, which is a very common issue in games just across the board, really. Specifically, there's an issue with people using bots to try and scam kids, according to quotes provided by insiders at Roblox again. Not just that, but one of the most popular games on Roblox is basically just being bot farmed from Southeast Asia, again, according to this research paper. The data that they show is a large chunk of the users for the game being from Vietnam and the Philippines, which is accompanied by images of bot farms that run the game on dozens or even hundreds of clients at the same time, which, if true, is pretty crazy, but pretty common in games as well. But if they are quoting these numbers to investors, that's probably an issue. The next section of the report talks about inflated usage hours of the users, for which they provide a massive amount of data to support that claim. They apparently had 113.2 gigabytes of information for data analysts to go over, and that was from monitoring 10 days of games on the Roblox platform. What they found was that the average user's time in games was around 22 minutes, which is a massive difference from what Roblox officially claims to investors, which is 2.4 hours. Using the data that Hindenburg Research found, they saw that 0.64% of users accounted for 26% of the total hours engaged, meaning that the data is being massively skewed by bot accounts that run 24 hours a day, sometimes for multiple days at a time. Not only that, but Roblox has an ecosystem that basically promotes AFKing and botting. If you've got no idea, Roblox games are basically made by its player base, and they are incentivized to do so. That's why it's a platform and not a game. It's the metaverse, basically, that cryptocurrency bros kept talking about, except with crypto and just slightly less maturity in the player base. Creators are making these games, and they earn money from doing so if they're popular. One of the key metrics that they are paid by is engagement hours, meaning that if you as a creator make games people sit AFK on, you're incentivized to do so. Because, of course, for Roblox as a company, if the creators are making games that people log on and stay online for a long time to farm things, those stats are then things you can put in your investor report. And again, since you're not earning money from your audience, these are the only things you can sell to investors. Which, to be fair, means that they are actually on the game and they're not just bots, which isn't a terrible thing. But it also means that there will be more bots and more alts on there, and that data is going to be reported to inflate the company's value. But here we come to the real meat and potatoes of the report, a title that simply reads, "Our in-game Roblox research revealed an X-rated PDF hellscape exposing children to grooming, pornography, violent content, and extremely abusive speech." I'll probably have to have just censored some of those words for YouTube's monetization, but just know it's all bad things with adults that you wouldn't want kids exposed to. This section opens up with a 3 minutes and 47 seconds video that I can't show you for obvious reasons, but you can find it in the report. It shows the CEO talking about their moderation while displaying videos of what is going on in the game right now, which completely contradicts what he's saying about their moderation. What's in the video is a bunch of racism, hate speech, naked pictures of adults that clearly had been displayed to children, just a bunch of really awful shit that shouldn't be around kids. Basically, they display that the moderation on the platform is not fit for purpose, especially when, the majority of the user base are children. Which isn't to say that other games don't suffer from this issue, but with the fact that Roblox is a user-generated content game, platform rather than a game really, as well as of course the average age of the player base means the vast majority of children, it's clear Roblox is worse than other games for this, and that's why they have such a problem compared to just some random other multiplayer game. That's why if you go Google it, you can find dozens of reports and convictions of people grooming children from Roblox, meeting them in real life from Roblox. With this being the case, it would then surprise you to learn that Roblox is pushing more towards AI moderation and less human moderation, even lowering trust and safety expenses. So what this sentence means is that they're putting less money into moderation despite knowing that there are real harms going on their platform and that they have a reputation both in media and in users that they have an issue with people grooming kids on there. They've been told, they know about this, and then now they're still, even despite all of that, obviously what they've got going already doesn't work. If you're then going to lower money to it, then, you know, how is this going to work out? How is that going to make things better? This makes it seem like it's not a priority. The report then goes on to feature a handful of independent reports from other publications like Rolling Stones, the Daily Mail, Fast Company, the National Center of Sexual Exploitation, and Bloomberg, which all uniformly cite issues of this nature with Roblox specifically. It's hard to go anywhere on the internet and not find stories about how bad Roblox is, meaning it's a broadly known issue, making the response from the company lowering the costs to be utterly gross and frankly disgusting. The report then shows a bunch of sex offender-related crimes against children that are directly tied to Roblox, as well as reports about communities engaging in underage erotic roleplay in exchange for Robux, which is the currency of Roblox. And that brings us to a quote from Roblox that states, quote, "We conduct a safety review of every single image, video, and audio file uploaded to Roblox using a combination of human and machine detection, as well as that their 3D content moderation without human review is, quote, the best in the world," which sounds amazing, but according to the report and screenshots in the report, which they claim were taken during their own research playing the game, show pictures of a man's penis just on display in the middle of a game within minutes of joining. And this was in a game that was called School Simulator, which accepts accounts of all ages and has had 28.9 million visits since it was created. Not just this, but as they went into the classroom of that school simulator, the blackboard also had graphic and racist language on it, while all the kids are just sitting around, as well as another game called Therapy, which has 63.5 million visits. Now, this would be bad enough already. I don't know why you'd allow this in your game if you claim you're moderating everything and you know it's going on, because you've said you do. But this is something kids shouldn't be doing in the first place. You know, mock therapy, it's a very dangerous power dynamic. One-on-one with a stranger in an intimate setting is insane for children to be exposed to. So you won't be surprised when the person the researchers are being therapized by says he's a rapper, but with only 1p, and then advises them they should run away from home. When they asked where they should go if they did, the therapist says they can go to his basement, but they would need to pay with their body, at which point he also offers to drive to them and, quote, take you with me. Now, this could be a child, being edgy, saying, you know, crazy stuff. But no matter what, it's insane. And this could easily, of course, be an adult speaking to an actual child. Because according to already public criminal charges, there are many examples of this already happening. There's even examples in this article of clubs within the game with 6.9 million visits since they were created, where people are just joining and simulating sex acts. It's still up now and has been since December 2022. Another called Public Bathroom Simulator Vibe has been up since November 2021 with 22.7 million visits. And I can't even show you screenshots of what people are doing there. And these are kids, let me remind you. The majority of players in this game are children, and these things are there, and the company is saying we moderate it all and nothing goes live without us knowing. The article even shows dozens of games with keywords exactly like this, so it's just there for people to find. So it's incredibly worrying that they're going to say that they know and nothing gets on there without their knowledge, and then this is just ongoing for months with millions of visitors for these things. Makes you ask the question, if they are reviewing everything, why is this happening still? At best, they're lying about reviewing everything, and at worst, they're just letting children be exploited. It's an either-or situation, you got to take your pick. The next example is Public Swimming Pool Vibe, 16.7 million visits, open to kids, around since January of 2022. The screenshots can't be displayed on YouTube, but the description is entering into a nightclub-looking place, dim lights, loud music, and finding a bunch of characters in revealing outfits performing sexual acts, which seems like a common thing in Roblox, apparently. I can't even go over the next section, but it is videos of simulated or forced sexual assault on Roblox, which was posted publicly to Twitter, which makes you question how was all of this going on if they have a robust moderation team. Well, the report goes on to say, according to insiders, Much of the Roblox moderation has been outsourced to Asian call centers, with people being paid $12 per day to review child grooming and bullying. So Roblox's entire customer base are children. Their business is a child-friendly platform. They're worth tens of billions of dollars, and their answer to countless accusations of improper behavior and moderation is to outsource to call centers in Asia, paying $12 a day. The moderators interviewed gave examples of texts that they saw, which I won't repeat because I don't want to relive it. You don't want to hear it, but you can go check it. As well as claims that over 20% of their moderation requests were related to grooming of children. And for that reason, the moderators said they wouldn't even allow any kids that they knew to play Roblox despite working for the company themselves. And that's basically it. I skipped over a few bits and pieces, as well as examples, more, and there's a ton of them, examples of child exploitation behavior going on, because I'm sure you get the point by now. If this report is accurate, and again, these are all allegations made in here, and again, I do think it's very trustworthy, but it is important to note, if it's accurate, which we have seen many cases of this online, we've seen many convictions, we've seen other companies inflate DAUs with people and things like that, and the quotes seem to speak for themselves. This makes Roblox look really bad, and it's understandable why they would have shorted them at this point. Obviously, it does bear mentioning and repeating that this company, the company making the report, is doing this whole thing for one specific reason: to make money. But it's not mutually exclusive that you can't make money and do good, and exposing a company like this is great, in my opinion. Even if the motive isn't directly altruistic, you can get both. That being said, people who follow gaming news won't be shocked or surprised to learn any of these things in the report, but we've never seen it broken down so meticulously and all in one place. All gaming companies, for the record, have moderation issues, and most gaming companies fudge their numbers with things like DAUs and MAUs, monthly active users, instead of giving a realistic outlook based on real people and saying people, how many real humans are using this thing. This isn't the biggest deal because everybody is doing it, and it's information I think, or I'd hope, a savvy investor would know about the gaming world if they were putting money into it. But since Roblox has managed to maintain a high share price versus their competitors, despite losing money every quarter since listing, clearly that isn't the case. But either way, thanks for watching. Hopefully this was informative. The link for the original report will be in the description. Go check out GamerSupps if you want to buy some cool merch like this hoodie that I'm wearing, or, drinks, powders you can put in, shaker cups, things like that. There will be a link in the video description. You'll get 10% discount. I'll get a kickback. Win-win for everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed. Leave me suggestions for content you want to see covered, things like that, either in comments, Discord, Twitter, all social medias, as well as Patreon down below. And I'll see you next time. Peace.